discovered something insane. Imagine this. You're playing the Caro Kann, feeling solid. And then your opponent's knight jumps from c3 to e4, then g5, and before you can react, boom, knight takes f7. They call this trash the alien gambit, and guess what I just discovered? I lose to this opening 90% of the time. Now, I'm mortal chess. I believe in solid chess. I believe in morals. And I believe in the healing power of bacon-flavored incense. I set out to crush this alien nonsense immediately. But someone beat me to it. Yes, this wet Romanian went straight to the source. The creator of the gambit himself. And their game is, well, you just have to watch it yourself. But before that, let's see how I, mortal chess, got butchered by this dirty gambit. e4 c6. This is the Caro Kann defense. I know to strike at the center with d5, and if white protects with the knight, I know to capture, and then play knight f6. I'm something of a Caro Kann god. But knight g5, in a fast game I played on Lead Chess 2 years ago, was the beginning of my brutal descent back to reality. I played h6 with a smirk. Your knight retreats. I play bishop g4. I'm black, and I'm leading in development. But my smirk soon turned into a full smile. Knight takes h7. What kind of a 2100 is this guy? King takes h7, and after knight f3, let's do a quick inventory check. I'm up a piece for a pawn. Yes, my king is an obvious target, but I eat these imbalances for breakfast. I play bishop g4, pinning the knight to the queen, and I regret it instantly. Can you see the move? Yes, knight f5 check, king g8, and white wins back his piece. I won't make any excuses for my performance, but I did play this game under Joe Biden's administration. And if you ignore this weak pawn on the e-file, my severe light-squared weaknesses, my terrible kingside development, major king safety issues, and the fact that my opponent is higher rated, everything here is equal. So, queen h5 check, c3 blocks and the queen reroutes to f5. It's game on. Yes, except after knight e5, knight d7 and captures. Bishop c4 check. My light square weaknesses stick out like a sore thumb, and this is the theme for the rest of the game. e6 is the only move, because king h7 loses the queen to another light square diagonal. Yes, Swiss cheese, and my opponent knows it. Queen e2, puts major pressure on my e6 weakness. I defend with the rook. All I need to do now is untangle my kingside, find good squares for my pieces, get in the pocket, start jabbing and feinting, and who knows, we've certainly seen much greater comebacks than this. Knight f6, I know the knight belongs on d5, but before I do that, let me hit this bishop with an in-between move. b5. The final nail in my coffin. Can you see the devastating deflection tactic? g4. You may know this is danger levels. Or maybe not. I'd like to think my viewers are cultured individuals. Anyway, I was forced to play queen g6, after which bishop e6 check, and there was no way I was going to line up my king and queen on a light square diagonal with this monster still on the board. I had to give away my rook. Takes, queen takes, and after king h7, instead of going for the kill, my opponent played the simple queen takes c6. He wanted to give me a moment to look at the pathetic state of my pieces, curled up into a ball in the corner of the board. I resigned immediately, and looking at the date, this might have been the game that made me start a YouTube channel. 2 years later, here I am, making this video, so none of you ever fall for this dirty bag of tricks again. So buckle up. The Caro Kann is on the board, but this time, it's in capable hands. And on the white side? Mr. Witty Alien himself, the founder of this alien bag of tricks. And from founder to founder, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Except my opening is undefeated. Yes, and I'm 6'5". There are levels to this game. Anyway, the first few moves are played. And after knight g5, Alex faces a familiar dilemma: what to do with this pesky knight? The answer is h6. If your opponent wants to give you a free knight, you let him. Takes, but after knight f3, with clear intentions of posting it on e5, followed by light squared hell for black, Alex strikes at the center with c5. The most important move of the game. Because if you're a piece down and playing for checkmate, the last thing you want to do is trade queens. So white goes for the standard alien gambit attack, knight f5 check, king g8, and the deadly bishop c4 check is on the board. Alex has to be careful here. The move is e6, because king h7 would be a sad way to lose the game. Can you see the checkmate? Comment down below. e6. And after castles, Alex continues his strike at the center with knight c6. And in this position, knight g6 is usually their final trick. If you play rook h7, you should intuitively get the idea that if any check happens, this king's only direction is outward. But forget about king's safety. How do you intend to bring this rook back into the game? Yeah, not worth it. Let the rook go. You're a piece up anyway. So Alex captures another pawn. He has the endgame in mind. Queen e2 puts pressure on e6, and queen e4 is the swift reply. A great move, hitting 3 pieces at the same time. A queen trade is forced. Takes, and with that, the queens are gone, along with any danger of checkmate. A few moves, and a bunch of trades later, knight d5 is on the board. We're just in time for a masterclass in endgame technique, to further prove that Caro-Kann players are a superior breed. First order of business? Coordination. Bring all your pieces together. But white has a sneaky idea, c4, and after the knight moves, bishop takes knight. And if g takes f6, black loses yet another pawn. It's now anyone's game. But Alex Banzia is an international master. He finds the intermediate move, king h7, attacking both the rook and bishop. White defends, and now gx-f6. You accept the initial knight sacrifice, sidestep all your opponent's dirty tricks, take your material superiority to the endgame, and win. That's how it's done. But after the move a3, how do you win this game on the spot? It's not an easy find, but knight c2 is a weirdly annoying move for white. Think about it. Where will this rook go? If it moves along this rank, this rook drops. That leaves us with the e-file. Let's eliminate e3 and e5 for obvious reasons, leaving us with e2 and e4. Rook e2 falls for the direct fork on d4. And finally, rook e4. It's not immediately obvious, but knight d4 anyway. And now it's the other rook that's in trouble. Nightmares, with a K. Alex, however, did not find the killer move knight c2, because torturing your opponent for another 50 moves is always better. But since, unlike me, you guys probably have a life outside of chess, I'll spare you the details. Suffice to say, 2 minor pieces will always be better than a rook, no matter how hard you beat your chest. And it wouldn't be a mortal chess video, without a 1000 elo showdown to regulate your cholesterol. As usual, the first moves are played with GM level accuracy. Until knight g5, the reason we are gathered here today. h6 is played, and after knight takes f7 and king takes, the stage is set. The Caro-Kann is a sophisticated opening, but below 1000 elo, tricks and traps reign supreme. And admittedly, that makes the alien gambit something of a cheat code. Knight f3 is played, and guess which move black went for? Yes, bishop g4. Now, I may be saying this because I'm 2300, but personally, I couldn't play such a terrible move. Fortunately, this is 1000 elo chess, your mistakes are often forgiven, but blunders, like the one we're about to see in 4 moves? Yeah, those are punished severely. Bishop c4 check, forces black's king to retreat to e8. Castles, and suddenly, almost out of nowhere, black gets a huge confidence boost and starts expanding rapidly on the queenside. b5 and a5 are on the board. He's clearly been watching my Caro-Kann videos, and for that, he is rewarded. Knight e5, free material. And by free material, I mean taking the free knight on e5. For those of you who had your eyes on the queen. Well, that's exactly what our fellow Caro-Kann enjoyer played. And an instant bishop f7 is one of those checkmates they hit you with while you're at work. You can't bang your desk, you can't smash your keyboard, you can't lash out in any way, so you hold it in. Until you get home and take it out on your children.